Hi, my name is Cindy and it's Hello Harvest time. I love fall and want to show you some easy, cost-effective, and beautiful DIYs. So let's get started. DIY number 1, a Harvest Tin Plaque. And the supplies needed include ripple metal plaque, this is from Dollar Tree, a Happy Harvest napkin, Mod Podge, a raffia bowl, wooden button, hot glue, a long metal sign 2 inches by 6 inches, some scissors, acrylic paint and plaster, and crazy glue. Now the metal plaque looks like an arrow, but if you turn it right side up, it looks like a barn. Well, this was perfect for the Happy Harvest napkin that I had to cover part of the plaque. Instead of covering the entire barn with acrylic paint in the color plaster, I just painted part of the barn where I was going to put the Happy Harvest napkin. I tore the napkin around the orange truck and pumpkins and a tree whose leaves had turned orange. And after the acrylic paint was dry, I applied Mod Podge around the paint and laid the torn napkin on top. And then it had to be smoothed out, and so I used some plastic wrap and let it dry. Even with the ripples of the metal piece, it did not distort the truck. Now, I needed this to stand up, not just propped up. So I found a 6 by 1.5 inch metal in my stash that had words on it. And I tried to think, well, what can I do to get these words off and hopefully they will come off? So I used nail polish and it just removed it wonderfully, smoothed it out great. And then I bent the metal so that the barn would stand upright. I used crazy glue to adhere it to the back of the barn. And then I put clamps on both sides to obtain a tight seal overnight. And that worked out perfectly. In the morning, I just bent it a little bit more and it was standing upright. Now I had 3 choices of a bowl to put on top. There was an orange satin one, a natural raffia, and a jute bowl. Which one would I choose? Well, let's see how well they look. I think the raffia bowl wins. In addition, the cost was only $1.75, and you can't beat that price. And my neighbor came over and she fell in love with it, so she gets that one. Now this collaboration is hosted by the Rusted Willow and DIY from House to Home. The guest host is Chic Show DIY. I am sure these women love fall also and make some amazing DIYs, and plus they are so kind and sweet. Make sure you subscribe, like, save, and comment on their channels. The link to their channels is in the description box below. Now there are other crafters that are in this wonderful collaboration, so be sure to check them out. Subscribe, like, save, and comment on their channels as well. And the link to the playlist is in the description box below. Now we're on to DIY number 2, a Harvest pumpkin. The supplies needed include a wooden box frame 12 by 12, and that's from Dollar Tree. A wooden pumpkin, and that was from Dollar Tree also. A tendril, this is just wire that you can wrap around your finger and make a little tendril. Cardstock paper, reptile adhesive, a Harvest metal sign, jute ribbon, a wooden button, a pink jewel, a raffia bowl, and a jute flower, hot glue, pink ribbon, 2 beige leaves, antiquing wax, and some foam tape. Well, that may sound like a lot of items, but I'm sure that most of you have some of those things in your stash. And if you don't, you can use something else that would make it work. Now, this DIY makes me feel like it's harvest time. I started out by rubbing some antiquing wax on the wooden box frame, and I had never used antiquing wax before. This was my first, and I love it. It makes the box so pretty. Then I found a wooden pumpkin in my stash from Dollar Tree. I flipped it over and I cut out a form of the pumpkin with some pink and orange cardstock paper. Now, I have this in my stash. I have lots of paper and I probably will never use all of it. So I thought this would be a good project to use up some of that cardstock paper rather than a napkin. So I used some reptile adhesive, and this is the best adhesive to put down on wood if you're going to apply paper. I placed it on the pumpkin and smoothed it over, and it looked really nice. I also wrapped some brown jute ribbon around the stem of the pumpkin, and I attached that in the back with hot glue. Now, I had some beige leaves in my stash, and I took 2 of them of similar size, and I graced the sides of the stem. A green tendril peeks around the leaves and is graced by a pink bow. So tendril is just like wire. It may have some green paper around it or whatever, and I just rolled it around my finger and hot glued it on the pumpkin. And then the paper is kind of orange and pink, and I thought, what color ribbon would look nice with this? And when I put the pink ribbon on, it just stole my heart. So I just tied a very simple bow with jute. And then on top of the pink bow is a jute flower that was in my stash too. I think I used that on another project. And this was followed by a wooden button that I got from Temu and a jewel in the center. Now, I got all excited because this was looking so nice, and I got a bit of antiquing wax on the pumpkin. So I decided to add some to the ribs of the pumpkin, and I think it looks pretty good. And where I made a mistake, you can't really see it because I've got it hidden. Last, I placed a metal harvest sign in the middle of the pumpkin with foam tape. And then on the back of the pumpkin, I put 3 strips of the foam tape. And after removing the paper tape from the sticky side, I carefully placed the pumpkin in the middle of the frame, and now it is ready to display. This way, you can use it for various holidays. I can take the pumpkin out of there, and I can put a Christmas tree there. So I may do that. This way, it kind of saves on all of the supplies that you need. So let me know what you think about this one, because this one costs less than $5 also. DIY number 3. This is the last one. It is a harvest wreath. The supplies needed include some unconventional supplies: an aluminum cookie sheet that I got from Dollar Tree, a big shot or something that will cut aluminum, and I had a leaf die, I think 3 different kinds, a 9-inch metal ring, black ribbon, some Scrabble tiles, copper spray paint, hot glue, crazy glue, and a piece of faux leather string. Now, I have all of these things in my stash. If you don't have these things and you would like to make this, then you can use other things. You can just use some jute, scrap ribbon, the very thin kind. So I used 2 small leaf dies because I didn't have any larger ones. And I made about 25 of the 2 sizes that were in my stash and 2 of the budding ones. These are the dies. You just take them as you see. You put them on top of the aluminum. You put another plastic on top and you roll it. And when you're done, you can pop out 2 or however many leaves you put in there. I had to do this several times, but it wasn't bad. I could have cut them out, but I didn't want to do that, and I refused to purchase a large leaf die at this time. So, once completed, I began hot gluing the leaves and using the crazy glue to get a firm hold on the ring. Between that and hot glue, I started on one side about halfway up, and I kept layering them until I came to the same area on the other side. Then I put the smallest budding leaf on both sides. I took it out and I sprayed the entire leaf, including the ring, in copper. When it was dry, I folded a 1.5 by 11-inch ribbon over on itself, and I cut a little tiny hole in the top, and I threaded the faux leather hanger that I had tied on there. But then I thought it needed a little something extra. I had used the harvest sign on the other ones, and so I decided to use Scrabble tiles to spell out the word harvest. I glued them onto the ribbon. And you know, copper and black are popular for the harvest season in your high-end stores, at least. It is different and lovely. Well, that is all Z9 Designs family. Make sure you subscribe, like, save, and comment. I am heading toward 1,500 subscribers on my channel, and when I get there, if you're a subscriber and you've made a comment, when I get to that video, your name will be entered into the giveaway. So keep watching. Also, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and give me that thumbs up because it helps my channel grow. And remember, a life lived in love will never be dull. This is by Leo Buscaglia. See you later. Bye-bye.